This week's scenario is fire support from the 2014 Steamroller packet. This scenario does have the Killbox Artifice in effect, and consists of 2 flags and 2 objectives. The flags can be controlled for 1 CP and dominated for 2 CPs, and the objectives can be destroyed for 1 CP, but only 1 per player. The objectives have a defense of 5, armor of 18, and 15 damage boxes. The objectives also have the ability Firepower. While this objective is not contested by enemy models, light artillery within 4 inches of this model gain boosted damage rolls.
Hey everyone, this is Polar Bear Cub, aka Killbox Tony. So for my debut back to Cygnar, I really wanted to check out Sturgis. So kind of my thought with this list is, kind of really fast. It's really there to try to take out single wound, high defense models. And then the Boomhowlers are obviously there just to run up and contest either a zone or a flag, and that's going to really just kind of deny one section where I can clear out another zone and try to score control points. So this list has the option of both control as well as assassinate.
For today's game, I went with E-Makeda, Molik Karn because they go well together, a Sentry for the defensive bonus, an Archidon for lightning strike and distance for getting up there, a minion of beast handlers, a min unit of Venator Reivers with their unit attachment, 2 max units of Nihilators because, well, for in-faction they're good, and then a unit, the Tyrant Commander standard unit for its Reveille.
Alright, so I got to deploy first. I decided to put the Stormwall right in the center. And then for this, what I did was I just put the Boomhowlers on the left-hand side, accidentally dropping the Boomhowler. And really what their whole process was, again, was just kind of just run up and really contest that zone. Afterwards, I put kind of the rest of the army on the right-hand side with the Tempest Blazers over there on Black 13. One issue I did have was I did put Eiryss just a little bit too close to my advanced deployment to the Stormwall, and that just comes from forgetting about Eiryss' ability to not allow you to channel spells or give focus to jacks if they're within 5 inches of them. So shame on me for forgetting about that. That's a pro tip right there, is don't put Eiryss too close to your jacks.
Okay, for my deployment, I went with the battle group in the middle so they could kind of get to the either side to help, score points or, try to reduce the amount of infantry he had. I then used the beast handlers, kind of mix them in with the beasts to try and hopefully let them keep up. And then the Nihilators were to be the flanking units, so I had 1 on each side. And then I put the Tyrant Commander in standard towards the top of the screen to help that unit, because I figured that unit would need as much help as it could get with both the Black 13th and the Tempest Blazers sitting up there. Because of me going second, the Venators also went down towards the bottom of the screen, hoping to inflict some kind of damage on the Boomhowlers that were straight across from them. Going second meant that hopefully he would run his Boomhowlers, and I should be able to pop the mini feet to get snipe and hopefully hurt some of them. Now it's just a matter of waiting to see what happens.
Alright, so for my first turn in the game, I wanted to allocate focus, but after I allocated the focus point out, it was pointed out to me that Eiryss might be just a little bit too close. So I checked right here and realized that Stormwall was within 5 inches. So that kind of hurts a little bit on getting the Stormwall up the field the first turn. So what I did was I just activated the Stormwall and I walked him 5 inches right behind that wall. And then afterwards I activated the Tempest Blazers. I ran them. I didn't run them their full 16 inches. And I kind of just wanted to, you know, have that just threatening presence right up the board, right from the beginning. So, and I did keep the unit leader a little bit further back. Afterwards, I activated Sturgis. He casted Arcane Shield on the Stormwall, and then he walked just behind the Stormwall, and he ended up putting Snipe on the Tempest Blazers, so that they can get even further range on their initial shots, allowing them to, you know, if I need to, I could stand still. Afterwards, I activated the Squire and Strangewayes and put them both behind the Stormwall. Next, I activated Journeyman. She cast Arcane Shield on the Boomhowlers. The Boomhowlers chanted Call of Defiance and ran up the board. Again, with them having 4 up tough is really nice, and they're really a great unit just to you know, try to control contest the zone. I'm sure, you know, they've been talked to death, so I won't really say too much more. Afterwards, I activated Eiryss and I ran her into the forest. 1, so she could get up the board. 2, so she cannot disrupt the Stormwall again. Afterwards, I activated Aiyana and Holt and ran them. I activated Black 13 and ran them, and that was the end of my first turn.
Okay, his turn 1 was very predictable. He did do his, you know, standard run, advance. Some of the upkeep spells were kind of impressive that I didn't realize his caster actually had. It's the first time I've seen Sturgis on the table, so it was kind of a learning experience for me. So I start off with activating Makeda. I thought I wanted to advance her beyond the wall. But then, with talking with my opponent, he allowed me to back her up behind the wall. She ended up casting Road to War. And then she also ended up casting Fate Walker on herself, leaving her with one Fury. Then activated the Sentry. He ended up running. Thanks to Road to War, it allowed him to run 10 inches. I then activated the Venators. They then advanced, checking to see who all was in the Road to War area, because only models that are in her control area get the +2 movement. So I was able to advance most of them up. I kept the standard behind the wall, or the objective. And because of how far forward he moved, I decided to pop their mini feet on the Reivers, which gives them snipe for 1 turn. I then started to do the combined ranged attacks. I believe it was 2. I did 2 to 3 per. It was 2 Reivers per Boomhowler. Figured between the burst cannon giving the +1 for being a medium base, and the CRA giving it +2, I should have a good chance of forcing tough checks. Unfortunately, the 4+ tough is really tough to get around. And of course, he ends up making tough checks like a champ. But when you got a 50-50 chance at it, it makes sense that you'll be able to make more than you'll fail. Now, once that they've finished moving, once they finish shooting, they get a reform. So I'm now reforming them, hopefully out of the way of the Nihilator unit that's behind them. So the Annihilator unit can actually run forward and hopefully get get some good distance up the field. Maybe put some threat into him. Cause him not to maybe advance as far as he could have. But now I'm going to activate the other unit. I just marked where my line stopped for my control, so I knew which ones didn't get the extra inches of movement. And they took the run order. So now I'm just trying to get up the field, block some lanes. With the Nihilators having reach, made it really nice to be able to kind of have a nice little screen to block them. But unfortunately, range attacks don't care about screening so much. So the one unit is now ran forward. Checking on the other unit of Nihilators. They're going to run. Try to do the same thing. Try to form a screen. Hopefully protect the Venators. And hopefully not give too juicy of a target to my, too much of a target to my opponent. Now we're going through checking. I decide to have the Archidon run to engage Eiryss in the trees, because nobody wants Eiryss out there by herself. And with the extra +2 movement and his already high speed of 7, he was able to get up there and engage her. Molik Karn then advanced, did 2 for Fate Walker. Then the Tyrant Commander standard activate. They just do a standard advance. Oh no, they do press forward on the unit of Beast Handlers. Because who doesn't like, base speed 8 Beast Handlers? They get places. So I have one condition, Molik Karn, to remove the Fury. I have the other one conditioned to add Fury to the Sentry. And this is where, now that everything's activated, now it's time for the Fate Walker moves. Trying to see if my model will fit between the 2 bases. It does not fit for Mk2. So I take Molik, advance him up into the trees. It does not give him Pathfinder, so I can only move him that far into the trees. And then I advance Makeda right there to touching the 2 models.
Alright, so for turn 2, I have kept Arcane Shield on the Boomhowlers, Arcane Shield on Stormwall, Snipe on the Blazers, and I end up allocating 2 focus points out to the Stormwall. In retrospect, this was not the best idea, but I kind of thought that he'd be able to get a little bit more work done this turn. So, kind of at this point, I'm kind of just debating on what I want to start first. What I want to do is try to clear out as many as the Nihilators as possible with the Blazers. So I'm kind of checking, seeing what their defense is. It was defense 13, armor 13, so not too terrible. So I kind of just start the turn with the Tempest Blazers. I'm going to have them pretty much stand still, and what I'm going to do is shoot some Electro Leaps into them. So if they're standing still, they're Rat 9. They only need 4s to hit. So range 14, Rat 9, that's pretty good. So they're going to start taking shots right now and trying to wipe out as much of that unit as possible. So during this time, I just want to say, Killbox is a thing. Please always make sure you remember where your Killbox is, and make sure you're not 14 inches within the kill box, or you will start losing control points. So right now, a lot of the, alleged leaps are going off, but they are making a fair amount of their tough rolls. So pretty much by the end of the Tempest Blazer's turn, they end up wiping out a pretty good amount. I think just about 4 of them, and they knocked down 2 of them. So not horrible. And right now I'm just adjusting them with their like half move. So next what I'm doing is I'm just moving Aiyana and Holt over. Aiyana casted stealth, and then Holt's going to take his 2 shots. His first shot's going to be right on that model right there, and ends up rolling tough. So then I end up taking another shot at him again just to see if he dies. Finally he does. That guy actually survived a lot of tough rolls. After Aiyana and Holt is finished, I'm kind of just debating, what I want to move next, and then I decided to activate the Black 13. So one thing I did forget again is that with all the mistakes I made, that the objectives cannot be attacked first turn, which does kind of stink because it does kind of hurt what I was going to do with Ryan getting out a Mage Storm. What they're doing is, right now I'm just taking shots. I did forget again to declare what type of shots I was going to do in Black 13, so unfortunately with pretty much all the shots I end up doing Black Penny because it's the first ability that they can shoot on the card. Even though they're only, it's Knight's -4, so I do need 5s to kill, which is not absolutely terrible. So right now Ryan she's going to take her Mage Storm, and she's going to declare on the person behind, that guy that with the green dot is knocked down, so he's not going to be blocking any line of sight. So then right there I'm also just laying down the circle for the 4-inch AoE. So the last shot is Watts. He's trying to shoot that guy that was knocked down. Did not happen. So next what I did was I activated the Boomhowlers. Now the 2 that ended up were knocked down, I opted for them to sacrifice their movement to shoot. I should just had them run another turn so they could completely surround that flag just to really tie up within the 4 inches. But I thought I could try to remove some of the models. Not a bad idea, but needing 9s and 8s to shoot was not good. The other thing I did, which was really wrong, is right near the objective, I put Boomhowler right in the front, which if he dies, a lot of their awesomeness kind of goes away. So those are kind of some mistakes. Now the Boomhowlers were able to take out a couple guys, but not really enough to justify that. They really should have all just ran and walked to really surround that flag and clog up that lane, which in turn would have really helped me a lot more for my next round and some of the decisions that I made. Alright, so next what I ended up doing was I activated the Stormwall. I moved them up just on the other side of that wall. And with this first big gun, I used to shoot the model that was knocked down, only needing, anything but to hit him. And it was me kind of just debating on, hey, where am I going to move him at? after, you know, kind of talking, I did my shot. And after, you know, the hit, the model was easily wiped off the board. All I needed to do is just make sure he didn't survive his stuff check, which he didn't. So my second big shot was kind of wasted because there's really no one to shoot to. So what I ended up doing was I then just laid 2 covering firing templates, just making sure that the center of it had to be within his line of sight. So as long as it was right within that edge, it was good. Which one I ended up doing, and that would, again, you know, kind of stop those last couple of charges. That side on the left-hand side really did a great job just removing almost that entire board side. So really stopped, you know, pretty much all the aggression that was going to come to my Tempest Blazers, and even those covering fires really did help a lot. Next, what I did was I walked up Strangewayes, and then right there I moved up Sturgis, and I really should have double checked the kill box before I finished moving him, because that actually did put me well within the kill box. So, and I just moved him too fast and then moved the Squire, so that really hurt. So with my last little bit, what I did was I moved Eiryss in a way to where she would be blocking Molik Karn as well as keeping the Archidon in her melee range, and she did a couple of strikes on him. She did a little bit of damage, but not too much. But really keeping Sturgis back there is half the reason why I got Killbox Tony as my name after this.
With me scoring 2 points for Killbox, that really helped me out, gave me some hope that I could potentially win this one off of Scenario. The amount of shooting, the gross amount of shooting he had on the top side of the screen was really disgusting. I always underestimate how much shooting Cygar actually has. To be able to drop a full unit down to 2 men is just really disgusting. So now I'm going to activate the Venators first, because why not? They've, you know, hopefully they'll be able to do something this turn. And they're going to try to take more pot shots on the table, going towards the objective, because now that I've already got 2, if I could kill the objective, that gives me 3 and gets me really close to getting to my total of 5. I know that Boomhowler unit will still have to go down, but hopefully with the Nihilators on that side, they should be able to do something to help with that. Unfortunately, the dice rolls were not quite with me. Ended up leaving the objective with like 4 points of damage left on it. It was pretty bad. But that's okay. I still have the unit of Nihilators that can still come in. So I do my reform backwards to get out of the way of the Nihilators, because who wants to be in the way of a charging model? So now they activate. Well, actually, before they activate, the Sentry activates. It moves forward into reach range. I boost it to hit on Eiryss, and unfortunately he has a really low mat, needing an 11 on 3 dice. Average says I should get it. I didn't get it at all. Pretty much filled him all the way up trying to hit her. Could not get it done, unfortunately. So he was full. Now the other 2 Nihilators are going to activate. They're going to receive the charge order and charge the Black 13th, who are left forward, trying to avoid that that AoE that the Colossal dropped. One was able to get in, the other one decided it was just going to run to engage the other 2 Black 13th. Might as well make them a headache for somebody. Unfortunately, I swung, and I believe I ended up no damage. Couldn't swing high enough. Then I activate my caster. She does Road to War, because why not? Everybody likes the +2 movement. And plus it would help me get some of my back Nihilators to be able to charge all the way in. She also drops 2 more for Fate Walker and pops her feat. And her feat allows her to have any models making melee attacks in her control area, friendly models, get boosted to hit rolls. Not necessarily something I needed on the side with the Boomhowlers, because I only really needed a 5 to hit them. But better safe than sorry. So I take the Nihilators, they take the order to charge, and I just start randomly charging the different Boomhowlers, trying to keep them away, hoping I can get some good Berserk swings. And I do have 2 that end up charging the objective. Because if I could take out the objective, that's a good help to me. So I start making the swings. And I do fail to kill it. I leave it with like 2 boxes left. And it's really kind of sad that it was left like that. But it's fine. It's fine. I'm still trying to see if I couldn't clear some of the more of the Boomhowlers. But that 4-up tough makes it really, well, tough to take them out. So I'm going to have to hope that they can hold. The Nihilators can hold for another turn without giving up any more points on the other flank, or potentially giving up any points on the other flank. Activating the Beast Handlers. They advance. I use 1 to condition the Sentry, and then 1 to enrage the Archidon. Kind of made a mistake here. I should have actually activated Molik Karn first before them, so I could have had him advance and swing on Eiryss. But because of the mistake, I had to learn. But now, pretty much my bulk of my army and battle group are right there in the middle of the field, all huddled behind the trees, hoping not to get hurt. Molik Karn activates first, well, next, and swings on Eiryss. He does his sidestep, then drops 2 for Fate Walker on himself, because there's no way I want to leave him out there on, for the Stormwall to get. And now I activate the Tyrant Commander Standard, and they opt to run. They are not inside the Road to War area of effect, so I have to just do a standard 10-inch run with them. Now it's trying to decide, where do I take the Archidon? Archidon then decides to charge the Stormwall. Thankfully, under her feet, I cannot be targeted by free strikes, cannot be knocked down. And so I take my first swing on him. Because the feat is automatically boosted. I then put in Lightning Strike. I then swing on the Tempest Blazer. Thankfully, because of the fact that it's boosted hit, I was able to hit it, kill it. I'm going to spend my last swing on the Colossal and do a little more points of damage. Not a whole bunch, But now it's deciding where I'm going to lightning strike to. Do I lightning strike out of my control area or back into my control area? If I can go out, it's a good possibility he'll frenzy. So I go back, I pull him back in, right in the middle of all the Boomhowlers, hoping that it'll help protect him a little bit, and also lock the Boomhowlers down from making any further advances on my side. And now do my Fate Walker moves, which allows me to get Molik Karn to safety on the other side of the forest. And then Mk2, she kind of advances up and kind of hides behind the Sentry and the Beast Handler. Unfortunately, not able to score any more points.
Okay, so for this turn, I had a couple different options. Kind of what I was thinking about was trying to actually do an assassination on Mk2. Now, that would have taken a little bit of work. What it would have had to been was Sturgis would have popped his feet, and I would have pulled Molik Karn in just a little bit so I could have gotten line of sight. And then after attacking him twice, doing a flash over to Mk2. The issues with that was the fact Molik Karn, I had to hit him on 7s, and he had the ability to reroll. And then with Mk2, she was a defense 15, so I'd need 8s to hit. With an armor 17, it'd be dice -4. And after a lot of debate, I just eventually ruled that that wasn't going to be an option. Another chance what I could have done was on that left side. If I could have cleared out everything, allocated 3 focus points to the Stormwall, destroyed the objective, and then walked Sturgis up and then teleported into the flag to get up to 3 control points. My one issue with that was since I wasn't aggressive enough with the Boomhowlers, I was afraid that he'd be able to kill off those couple Boomhowlers to score his last couple control points, because after he kills the objective, he's at 3, and he could just run Mk2 over there to dominate if he was able to clear out 3 or 4 Boomhowlers. So after it was all said and done, what I ended up doing was I dropped Snipe on the Tempest Blazers, upkeep Arcane Shield on both Stormwall and the Boomhowlers. I pulled a point off the Squire, and I allocated the Stormwall 3 focus. Kind of looking back on that, I don't think it was a bad decision to allocate 3 focus to the Stormwall, because with my feats, if I would have done my feat properly, I just don't know if I would have been able to kill enough models to give the Stormwall enough focus. But unfortunately, as you guys will be able to see, the right side with all the Tempest Blazers goes really well for me. As right now I'm starting to removing, I'm removing some damage off of the Stormwall. So the right side tends to go really well with just clearing off the rest of that infantry with this turn. It's the left side that really goes downhill. So after kind of clearing off the damage, I start by activating the Black 13. So right now I was kind of just moving Watts, and found out that Watts was actually in melee. So they just move up Ryan, Watts, and Lynch. So Watts starts off first. He does Gunfighter into that the model, and he ends up rolling enough to knock down the model. Sorry, this is Lynch. Looks like the attacks are going off on. So he ends up the one on the Lynch side. Next, I activate Ryan. She's going to take 2 brutal damage shots at his unit right there. The guy's just really big and scary looking. Even though he only does 1 attack a turn, he's just kind of intimidating. So I want to try to get as much damage as possible. And then last shot with Watts, the guy ended up being knocked down. So next I activated Aiyana on Holt. Aiyana harmed that guy, and then after Holt's 2 shots, he removed them. And then last, I had my Tempest Blazers. They went, the Tempest Blazers are kind of just moving up. They're moving the base because they have the Gunfighter, and I just really want to make sure that I don't have to deal with +4 defense. So 2 of them are going in there just to make sure that they all get shot. And then right now, Tempest Blazers doing an Electro Leap to hit both those Paingivers, and then trying to shoot that one, but that last Paingiver was out of air. So next what they're doing is they're just doing their cav move to move up to all be within 4 inches to gain at least 1 control point. So next, kind of what I'm doing is I'm going back and I'm looking at Sturgis's feat, kind of talking about this is what I'm looking at doing, going over exactly what his feat does, what my abilities are. I just talked about how I want to charge in after I attack him, pop my feet, pull some models in. So what I'm doing first is I decided to activate the Boomhowlers because I want to try to clear a little bit more of the infantry out. So I'm trying to scoot them up as much as possible, as close to that flag, so that they can try to, remove models, as well as, just get close to that flag to just cause more of a disruption and make it harder for him to be able to control that flag the very next turn. So they're taking some shots. They do a decent amount of damage, but nothing, too terribly exciting. They're really just there just to, again, just kind of clog up. Okay, so next what I do is I activate Sturgis and he charges the Archidon, keeping just within max melee range. I take 2 swings. They're not really all that effective. I'm rolling a higher defense. I do hit a couple times. Luckily, with the focus on them, I'm able to attack. What I ended up doing next was I teleported. Forgetting that after I teleport, I immediately end my activation. So right here I tried to pop my feet, but after moving one model, I realized the teleport does stop. It ends my activation, and then actually right afterwards I realized that I killboxed myself yet a second time. So thus the name I've given myself is Killbox Tony because of this match. So frustrated, I moved up to Stormwall. And he charged the Archidon, and it was probably really close to this actually when I realized that I killboxed myself. But the Stormwall does effectively wipe out the Archidon as my last breath to try to do some damage. Just kind of knowing that with being down 4 control points, and that objective only having 2 damage left on it, that it was pretty much a sure game right afterwards. That I was going to lose this. So my thoughts for the next time is just be more aggressive with the Boomhowlers. I think that the list is really solid, and I think that Sturgis is definitely a really solid caster to take out a lot of 1 wound infantry.
With my opponent killboxing himself twice, earning me 4 points, all I had to do was kill the objective to get the 5th and final point. I make it simple, not to drag it out any further. I start with the Reivers because I could just advance them up into range, break it down to 2 CRAs, and hopefully with the first one, if the first one doesn't do it, then hopefully the second one will. And we figure out that it's enough to end up killing off the objective, and that's the game.